What would you say is a key moment that you experienced that made you feel like you were actually doing something with Rostrum?
We had kids who got into Oxford, who got into Yale,
Really?
who got into Duke. That's when we realized, okay, we have something, we have created something good here.
Did your entrepreneurial spark start when you switched to IB, or was it there when you were doing CBSE?
I always knew that I didn't want to work for someone else. I wanted to start my own company.
When did you figure out Rostrum?
I didn't feel that, there was an existing product that could help us out with this.
Yeah.
So we're creating our own product for this.
What does Rostrum do in terms of career guidance?
The problem is not that there are not enough jobs out there. The problem is that students are not starting in time. That's why we launched a service called the Careers Program.
You're also investing heavily in tech, right? So what are you expanding into?
It's something that we're creating for our students and parents to better track their progress without actually compromising on the personal touch.
Is that enough just having, say, solid grades? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rostrum Talk. Today we'll have Yatharth, and he'll go through his journey, and we'll talk about how we got to where we are right now.
Hi, Jeremiah. How's it going? Thank you for inviting me to this podcast.
I'm happy to have you. So I want to talk about, first, before we get into anything, I really want to talk about you and your journey to LSE.
My journey to LSE, it's been a while. It's been more than 10 years now.
Yeah.
2013 is when I started the LSE, and I was there for 3 years. So, I mean, the initial idea was that around 2010 or 11, when I was in 10th grade or 11th grade, that's when I started thinking about going outside India.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, I would go to the UK, and LSE was a dream university for me. Just because of the, I think, name at that time, I had heard some, good reviews about it. My family knew about the university, so they wanted me to go there as well. And then I started preparing, towards getting into
Specifically
LSE.
for LSE, yeah.
Yeah, and a big thing at that time was that they didn't take CBSE students. They only changed that in the last 4 to 5 years. So when I was applying, they didn't really take CBSE students, so I had to change my curriculum to IB in order to be eligible to get into LSE, which is what I did.
So did your entrepreneurial spark start when you switched to IB, or was it there when you were doing CBSE?
No, I don't think the entrepreneurial spark, I always knew, I mean, even before switching to IB, that I would start my own business eventually. At that time, obviously, you have all these ambitions, etc., and you're unrealistic as well. You want to create the biggest business possible in the world, but I mean, you just, you're a kid at that time, so you're not very mature. So, but I always knew that I didn't want to work for someone else. I wanted to start my own company. At that time, I didn't know what I was going to do. It was too early for that. But I thought I'll go to LSE, I'll meet some people, I'll do some networking and see how it goes. And, eventually I will come up with some idea and, start something. So, but I didn't know what I was going to do at that time.
Yeah. So when did you figure out Rostrum? When did the idea of
So
education come into play?
Yeah, I mean, even till 2017, I didn't know I was going to start an education company. I mean, this was one of the ideas that I had. I also had a couple of other ideas that I wanted to start, because I was also tutoring, students who were doing IB. I was tutoring them in London. So during my weekends or after college, I would go to their houses. I would take classes, and so I always, I had this idea that this is something that could work out. Um, and IB students, because I did the IB myself, many of them are looking for external support in terms of tutoring, and I felt that there was no company that was offering all the services that IB students require under one roof. So this is where the idea came from. So when I was tutoring, I always thought, this is something that could work out in India as well, because it was working out in London. I was teaching students, and but it was more like a job to make money. It was a part-time job.
Yeah.
But when I came back to India, which was in 2018, like end of 2017, beginning of 2018, that's when we started Rostrum. And yeah, from there it started. I mean, I thought, let's give it a couple of years, see how it goes. But then it picked up, and then we launched a lot of other services as well. and then we transitioned more into college counseling, and now we have also started careers, which is more like helping students, get jobs
Hmm.
after getting into college. Because these are the problems that we realized once we were in the business, that okay, now we're offering tutoring. What is the other problem that students are facing? Students are struggling to get into their dream university, so that was the next natural step to go into. Then we realized that okay, even if people are getting into their dream university, they're not able to get the job that they need, right? So eventually that's the goal, that you want to get into a career that pays well, or something that you're passionate about. So we also wanted to help students to get those jobs. So that was the natural next step for us.
Yeah.
So that's why we've started this service recently. For the last 1.5 2 years, we've also been helping students get jobs in top firms in the US and UK.
Got it.
Yeah.
So scalability is always like a persistent problem. What have you done that's like helped you get over that scalability problem? Because obviously, any company when you start with, there's always that issue how to
Yeah.
get your first client, then 10 clients, 100 clients, but you never really find a fix, I'd say. But what have you done to like contract it?
So I'll start with how we actually started, like in the initial stages, what we were doing.
Mhm.
So initially when we started, it was mostly word of mouth, that we grew with, and we didn't really do a lot of social media ads, etc. So we didn't have a lot of digital marketing at that time. It was mostly that we would try to go to schools, do seminars over there. We would get a few queries from there. Students would start working with us initially for tutoring, and then from tutoring they would also start taking college counseling from us. So this is how we transitioned, and then they would tell their friends, and then their friends would come to us. So it was mostly specific to Delhi when we started.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do a lot of digital marketing, so we weren't really reaching to people outside of where our office was. But when we started scaling, especially when COVID started, everything went online. We realized that we can get clients from uh, all over India, outside India as well. So we didn't have to stick to a particular region,
Yeah.
right? So that's when we started doing Instagram. We started putting a lot of content on there. We would get queries from there. We would also put our success stories on Instagram, etc. So we would get, we started getting clients from Instagram as well. That's when we realized the power of digital marketing. and and then we now we are expanding to YouTube. We are doing other things as well. We are doing Google ads. We are also reaching out to people on LinkedIn. So that's when we started doing digital marketing. We realized that yes, what we are offering is working, but we need to increase the reach of that. Now obviously, the kind of services we are offering, we are helping people get into the top universities in the world. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah.
So we cannot compromise on quality at all. So that's why you want to maintain your quality and also grow the business. So you have to be
Yeah.
very careful about this, because
Gotcha.
sometimes it happens that you try and scale the business and then you have to compromise on the quality. So you
Mm.
lose what you've built over the last few years as well,
So
which is
through
what we obviously didn't want to do.
yeah.
And I wouldn't suggest, I mean, with service based businesses, I feel it's very important that you establish a place in the market, you create a structure, take whatever time you need. I mean, take
Mhm.
years. If it requires, let's say, 10 years, also take that 10 years. And then you expand once you feel that you're confident that, now I can grow the company without compromising on the quality.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to grow too quickly without realizing that, you've compromised on the quality and you're losing out on the market that you already built.
So, do you think maybe through your experience so far, it was a student testimonial, or what would you say is a key moment that you experienced that made you feel like you were actually doing something with Rostrum?
So the key moment, I feel that initially when with the first set of students that we had
Yeah.
back in 2018, and they got into amazing universities and they got really good grades as well in their subject. So we had in the first year itself, we had kids who got into Oxford, who got into Yale,
Really?
who got into Duke. So we had like 10 students maybe, and out of that, 5 or 6 got into Ivy Leagues and Oxbridge.
That's
So that was a
yeah.
big achievement, and that's when we realized, okay, we have something, we have created something good here, and we can achieve something if we expand from here.
So, I mean, Rostrum isn't the only like educational company out there that's helping like students get placed. So, like placing kids in Ivy Leagues rather. And I just want to know, what would you say the distinguishing factor would be? What sets Rostrum apart from most of these companies?
See, there are obviously a few companies out there. I wouldn't say there are a lot of companies out there.
Yeah.
A lot of companies that are in this industry are not really offering services to help people get into Ivy League and Oxbridge because they don't
Mhm.
have that kind of expertise. There are a few companies out there. I would say the biggest way in which we are different is that we are offering things under one roof, right? So we are everything from tutoring to college counseling to career prep, everything is being offered under one roof, which other companies are not doing.
Okay.
Secondly, I also feel that personalized approach is missing in some places because they've scaled. I mean,
Mhm.
we are scaling as well, but sometimes, other companies miss out on the personal approach. So that becomes a bit of an issue. Like I know companies that would, let's say give people a software to use and they have to do everything from the software and there's no like real interaction with
Yeah.
counselors or mentors.
Yeah.
So that becomes a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
That might work out for someone, who's already pretty good, who's already getting great grades and who already knows what they want to do,
Mhm.
etc. And even if they get a software to use and they have all the resources on the software, they can do pretty well with that. But what about the students who require,
The extra
that kind
attention.
of
Yeah.
extra attention or hand holding? What about them? We have created a structure where we have that personalized approach as well as we are using tech to, supplement that. We don't want to replace that personalized approach with technology.
Yeah.
We want to create a company where we have technology working together with the personalized approach.
Yeah.
So I think that's a major, factor, that we are basically different.
So when you build these connections, I mean, you do work with the students for a long time, like you just said, right? So what has been the most fruitful of these connections that you made? I'm sure these relationships must mean a lot, right?
Yeah, we are in touch with most of our students.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the students, the first set of students or the second set of like the first couple of years that we worked with students personally. Many of them, some of them have started their own companies. Some of them have joined, top firms in the US and UK. Some of them are even working with us. To be honest, I mean,
Oh yeah.
a lot of them work with us as part-time tutors when they go to university. So we are still in touch with many of them.
So as Rostrum's scaling at the moment, where the funds that you guys are using, is it from what you are investing or is it coming from external sources, or how are you guys functioning at the moment?
So at the moment, I mean, we are bootstrapped. From day one, we are bootstrapped. So we are just reinvesting our own profits into the company. And we've been doing that from day one. And we never really thought of raising funds because we wanted to, grow the company in our own way. And we didn't want to get into the bubble of edtech that happened in India. It's still happening. A lot of companies are going bust, and we didn't want to get into all of that. We wanted to create a sustainable company, and we wanted to reach a stage where we know that we've created something that works, and
Yeah.
it's almost perfect. Obviously, you can never be perfect. Any company can never be perfect, but you know that okay, you've reached a stage where you've created something that's really working out, and you're easily able to scale now and you're almost there. And if we feel that okay, at that time we need funds to scale it further or scale it more quickly, then we are open to it. It's not like we are not open to it, but I just didn't feel at that time in the last few years that we needed to raise
It's
external
essential, yeah.
funding because we wanted to grow the company ourselves, test it out, see if it's working, and also didn't want to have that external pressure on us to grow the company really quickly. And now that we've reached a certain stage, we're definitely open to it. No issues there. But yeah, but I would only want to do that once I feel that okay, this is working out. We have all the structures in place. Now it's just about investing money and replicating it in different areas of the world.
Yeah. So you said technology and you're also investing heavily in tech, right? So what are you expanding into and what are you looking to get yourself into the next couple of years?
I wouldn't reveal a lot of information there. I don't want to,
Yeah.
before it's launched, I
Yeah.
don't want to give a lot of information
Got
on
it.
that.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell you this, that, it's something that we're creating for our students and parents to better track their progress,
Mm-hmm.
and to get more resources without actually compromising on the personal touch,
Got it.
right? So this is not something that's going to replace our services. This is just something that will help our counselors provide a better service and help our
Mhm.
tutors provide a better service.
Mhm.
So we are expanding heavily into tutoring as well. So when we started, it was more of a tutoring company, and then it became a counseling company. Now we are going back into uh, tutoring a lot more. We're still
Mhm.
doing the counseling, but we're expanding a lot more on the tutoring part. So that's something we're doing. Another thing is, we are bringing in a lot of technology into what we are offering, because I feel like people need that, students need that to better look at their progress, or parents, if they want to track progress, there should be something that they can use to
Yeah.
uh, do that.
Mhm.
And that's what we are working on right now. And I didn't feel that there was an existing product that could help us out with this,
Yeah.
so we're creating our own product for this.
So Rostrum Education has a little tagline that says bespoke education.
Yeah.
What is bespoke
So bespoke
education?
educational services, by that we mean that it's customized to the student,
Yeah.
and it's customized to what they're looking for, right? Because we're offering tutoring, we're offering consulting, we're offering, let's say, AP test preparation, Oxbridge entrance test, career support. So because we're doing all of these things under one roof,
Mhm.
every person, every student gets like a different support. So some students will only sign up for a certain thing, some students will sign up for all the services,
Customized plans. Yeah.
right? Some students want to focus on Ivy League, some students want to focus on Oxbridge, some students would want to focus on, let's say, the top 25 colleges in the US, not
Mhm.
necessarily Ivies, for
Yeah.
example. So it's customized to each student. So we don't have like, one plan that works for all,
Yeah.
because I don't think that works out in the education
Yeah.
space.
For
You
sure.
want to, every student is different, they all have different requirements. And because we are offering such a personalized service to people, it has to be customized to the student. So
Yeah.
that's why it's bespoke. It's, customized to everyone who joins us, rather than just saying that, okay, this is what we have and you can either you take it or you don't. I
Yeah.
mean, we would change it according to what they're looking for.
So during this process, I mean, how did you find what works for who? Like different students fall under different types, right? Like
Yeah,
you can say, yeah, so like A, B, C, D, whatever it is, but each one has their own set of special characteristics.
yeah.
But how have you found what works for each of these groups?
I mean, when we have that meeting with the initial meeting with the student, we, to a very large extent, we're able to recognize what kind of student it is.
Okay.
And also, it's important to recognize the parents as well. It's very important, because it's not just the student you're working with, you're also working with the parents. Especially when I'm talking about undergraduate applications, parents are heavily involved in the process as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to understand how the students work as well as how the parents work.
Yeah.
Because even though you're working more with the students, you also have to manage the expectations of the parents as well. So
Mm.
managing those expectations is very important. So in that first initial meeting, we try and understand, okay, these are the kind of parents, these are the kind of students that we're working with,
Yeah.
and this is how we should customize our approach.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
we give them, so whoever works with them, whoever the mentors are, we give them like a summary that, okay, this is, this is the kind of student you're working with, this is the kind of parent you're working with, this is the additional support they would need, these are the places they want to apply to, these are
Mm.
their aspirations, are they realistic, are they unrealistic?
Yeah.
So we talk about all of that.
Yeah.
And then the mentor, through more meetings with them, is able to customize their timeline as well as the approach as well as the projects that they're working on
Okay.
and things like that.
Is that enough just having, say, solid grades?
I mean, honestly, just grades are not enough,
Yeah.
because if you look at most students now, I mean, they're getting great grades, whether it's
Yeah.
IB or CBSE, people are excelling their academics. However, in the last few years, especially in the last 5 to 6 years, it's become super competitive to get in these colleges, whether it's Ivy League or Oxbridge. You need to have something that's unique about you. For example, one of my students who got into Harvard last year, I mean, he was passionate about blockchain. So he wrote a research paper related to blockchain. He started his own project related to blockchain. He got some funding as well,
Okay.
on his particular project. He was trying to change the way property was transferred in, and how blockchain could help with transferring of property.
Yeah.
and it would reduce the number of scams or frauds
Yeah, that's
in
really
this
interesting.
particular
Yeah.
industry, right? So that there has to be something in your profile which shows that, okay, I'm passionate about this XYZ thing, and because I'm passionate about this, I've done something related to this which has created impact.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that, plus you have the grades as well, then you can get into a top university.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, then it becomes really difficult.
Is what's it like? Like, say UK and US are very different when you're applying
Yeah.
grades, and even when it comes to extracurriculars, the things that you're saying on your resume while you're building your profile, they do matter very differently. What would you say? What would you lean
Yeah.
towards?
You know, there's a misconception out there that a lot of people say that UK doesn't require any kind of profile building, or it's
Yeah.
very easy to apply to the UK. But
Mhm.
if I look at the students who work with us, I find students find it really hard to get into Oxbridge. Even though parents feel that, okay, nothing has to be done, you just send an application
Mm.
and, and they'll call you for an interview. If you do well in the interview, you'll get in. But it's not that simple. Even when you're applying to the UK, you need to build on your super curricular activities.
Yeah.
So there's, people, a lot of people that I speak to on a daily basis, they don't know the difference between extracurricular and supercurricular.
Yeah.
UK is looking more towards supercurricular activities, which means that, okay, if I'm interested in, let's say, economics, then what have I read related to economics? What kind of competitions have I taken part in related to economics? Have I written a research paper in something which is related to economics?
Okay.
So again, I have to find that one particular specific topic within economics that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if it's inequality amongst, let's say, gender, then I should write a research paper related to that.
Okay. And then that becomes a
That becomes a super curricular
Okay.
activity as well as an extra. I mean, it's super curricular activity just means that some like an activity that's related to the course that you're applying for. An extracurricular could be something that's unrelated to the course.
Mhm.
So, for example, if I'm applying for history and I've written a research paper in blockchain, for example, I was just
Yeah.
talking about blockchain. So that is an extracurricular activity because that's not related to history.
Mhm.
That will also help you, especially for US colleges. That really helps you because in the US colleges, the difference is that you're not really going in for a particular subject. Let's say if I apply to Harvard, I can change my course when I go there.
Mhm.
So even if I apply for history, I could do computer science in year 1 or year 2. So they're taking you in not because you're great at history. They're taking you in because they feel that, okay, you're passionate about something and you've done something related to your passion where you've created some impact.
Mhm.
And you're a smart student, you can come to Harvard and you can learn.
Yeah.
Whether you learn history or you learn economics or you do law or you do pre-law or you do computer science,
Yeah.
that's up to you. They
Got
just
it.
want smart students
Makes
who are,
sense.
who are passionate.
I guess.
UK, on the other hand, they are looking for people who are great at their subjects because you don't have the flexibility in the UK to change your course,
Mhm.
right? So if they're taking someone in for economics, they have to be amazing at economics.
Got it. Yeah.
They're testing your knowledge related to economics, right?
Mm.
Even in the interviews, you'll get questions related to economics, you'll get questions related to math. In your personal statement, you will have to talk about things that you've done which are related to economics, right? You'll have an entrance test as well.
Yeah.
So they are actually testing your knowledge in
Yeah.
your subject.
Yeah.
And US, on the other hand, is looking for someone who's passionate about something. I've had students who've gotten offers from both.
Yeah.
They've gotten offers from Oxbridge as well as Ivy League.
Can you actually walk me through that process? What is it like? Say Oxbridge. What is that process like? What does Rostrum do? Like, how does Rostrum nurture their students? And what is the process like to get them from where they are to actually getting accepted into like an Oxbridge college?
So let's say if we're talking specifically about Oxbridge,
Yeah.
right? So then we would do like a selection call
Okay.
with them because we want to make sure that the student that we're working with, especially for Ivy League or Oxbridge,
Hmm.
firstly, do they have the potential to get in or not?
Yeah.
So it's extremely important for us to do that. We keep that selection call,
Right.
right? We do a mini interview with them where we ask questions about why do they want to go to Oxbridge? Why do they want to do this particular subject? What have they done till now? What books have they read till now? Because we want to see that do they have that basic understanding, right? Because unless, uh, let's say, if you're not sure about why you want to study that subject, you won't be able to give a good answer in the interview when the interviewer is in the actual interview. If the person is asking you, why do you want to study economics?
Yeah.
If you don't have an answer to that, you wouldn't really get into the college.
For sure, yeah.
Right. So we do that selection call. Then if we feel that okay, they have the potential, then we start giving them the right resources through books, through online courses, through podcasts,
Yeah.
through connecting them to a mentor who will help them write a research paper. Usually it's a professor from their own field who will help them write a research paper as well as publish it.
Yeah.
Right. Then we will also help them get an internship if that's required, if we feel that's required. We'll also help them start their own passion project. We'll brainstorm ideas with them. We'll connect them to the right NGOs if required.
So what does Rostrum do in terms of career guidance, or does Rostrum do anything career related?
Yeah. So, when we first started helping students get into colleges,
Yeah.
parents would come to us and say, oh, why should we send our kids to US colleges or UK colleges? I know my friend's daughter who didn't get a job even after going to Cornell and had to come back to India.
Yeah.
These are the kind of questions we would get from parents,
Mhm.
right? The problem is not that there are not enough jobs out there, right? There are jobs out there.
Yeah.
The problem is that students are not starting in time. They're not applying for jobs in advance. It's something that you have to start as soon as you get into college. That's why we launched a service called the Careers Program,
Okay.
where we start working with students as soon as they get into college.
Okay.
So, a lot of our students who've just gotten offers have also started working with our careers program, because even before they go to college, they will have a list of companies ready with them that, okay, these are the companies I want to target.
Yeah.
And these are the applications to get the first internship with them. Because eventually, from that internship, they'll get the final job.
Got it. Yeah.
It's very hard to get a graduate role directly.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually through internships that you get those graduate roles.
Got it. Yeah.
So that's why we work with students for 3 to 4 years throughout their college. We help them with profile building the right skills, doing the online tests. We help them with assessment centers. We help them with the interview process. So everything basically that you
Yeah.
need to get a job.
Yeah.
And we continue working with them till the time they get their dream job.
Okay.
And usually these are jobs in top investment banks
Yeah.
or top law firms or consultancies, etc.
But say there's a student that wants a job, but say it's a hard process, right? Getting your dream job. But during that process, how is it that you help? Because say for example, so you want to get someone into like a design college, right? You can make a great portfolio, you can make great things, but sometimes they miss or they lack the things that make them eligible to be like a great designer, say for example.
Yeah, so if we feel that there are certain skills that are missing in that student,
Yeah.
they need to, let's say, upskill themselves by doing certain courses or doing like a diploma
Yeah.
or, working with a mentor, then that's where we come in, right? We recommend them the right resources, we connect them to the right people so that they can upskill themselves and they can be more presentable in front of employers. We also help them with commercial awareness. Commercial awareness means that, let's say, if I'm applying for a job in investment banking, then I'm going to talk to these students about what's happening in the world related to investment banking or what's happening in the economy. What is, let's say, the Fed doing? What's happening with the interest rates? What's happening with the gold price?
Yeah.
They should be aware about all of these things.
For sure,
Many
yeah.
students are not. Right? So commercial awareness is extremely important because when you go for an interview, these are the kind of questions you will get from the interviewer.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So just before we go, I just want to ask for any advice that you have for any young entrepreneurs or people that want to start and build big.
So I feel like for entrepreneurs, firstly, people who are just starting out, it's important to, take that risk. A lot of people wait for the right opportunity. They feel that, okay, I'll, let's say, wait till I'm 35 or I'm 36, whatever. Like, I'll wait, okay, if I've made X amount of money, then I'll start my own business. And then you get so many responsibilities on you. I mean, it's just very difficult to start your own business at that time. I feel like you should try out and see how things go for you. It's not possible for a lot of people. I understand that as well. Because resources, etc., you have to provide for your family and you can't take that risk, which is understandable. But if you're trying to start your own business, you can always, take that risk initially, see how it goes. And then eventually, if you want to get into a job, that's also fine. Right. And before you start out, right, I also feel that it's important to have some kind of experience working with a bigger firm. So you understand basic things like professionalism, talking to people, you know, just interacting with
Yeah, for sure.
customers and things
Yeah.
like that, making sales, you know. If you get some kind of experience in a bigger firm, even for a year or two, that also really helps.
Yeah, I mean, it's always better to have like experience like that because you
Yeah.
do learn about all the
Yeah,
different groups
yeah,
and
yeah.
compartments
So
that
even
are.
if you're not making a lot of money initially, that's fine, as long as
Yeah,
you're learning a lot.
that's
That's
true.
that's really important.
Yeah.
But then at a certain point of time, you'll also have to decide that, okay, this is time, I want to start my own business. I know a lot of my friends who've been saying it for 10 years that, you know, I'll start my own business, and
Yeah.
they're never able to leave their job because
Mhm.
obviously it's paying their bills,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it's impossible sometimes
Yeah.
for people to do that. But I feel like when you have fewer responsibilities,
Becomes easier.
it becomes
Yeah.
easier to take that risk.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank
All
you for
right.
calling me.